Hey, today I thought I'd show some of my old collecting relics, stuff from the very beginning, and then later on in the 90s. I was going through some boxes in a closet where I keep some of my collectibles, coins, cards, used to be comic stuff, but now that I built this room, it's all migrated down here. And I came across a couple things. I know I mentioned in a video a while back, one of my first videos actually, I had a little red notebook, and I would keep track of what I needed in it. And I still have it. I found it when I was up there. It's a little 8" by 5". That's a really weird size, Harvard Square, little red spiral notebook. It's very tattered, been opened lots and lots of times. I'd say it's a 2.5. But it's got my name in it and my phone number from like 30 years ago. But I used to keep track of it like that. So you could see DC and then the title or back issues and then Batman. And it's in pencil. And I would just go along and cross them off as I went. So I would delineate annuals and regular. So this is for some of you younger collectors out there. This is before spreadsheets, and you had to do things the old-fashioned way. This is so fun. This was so fun to me. Look at what I was kind of into collecting back then. This one definitely is a paper time machine. Kind of tempted to go now. I think what I used to do, I would either cross off or erase, and I can remember the sheer joy of that. And this is back when I was a massive completist. I had a, once I started collecting something, it would, it would take over, and I would have to get every single number. I had some lofty goals too. Look at this. I have Journey into Mystery, and I started right at 83. Go all the way up. So I think I only had one of them in there. And then I actually had the little note, becomes Thor. So that's pretty awesome. So this was the more comprehensive. And then I had what I would call, this was my hunting folder. Just a black vinyl folder. Had a notepad and some notes in it. And then I had things like guys that I would buy from frequently. This guy here, David Belmont. And if you have old Bronze Age comics, you can look them up. And then I had, here's the note of where the guy lived, that attic where I didn't buy the Silver Age when I had a chance. It's funny, it's handwritten notes. Big white house on the right. That's pretty funny. Anyway, I don't know why I kept that. It's just funny. And then I have little cards. People would hand out cards at these little VFW shows you go to, and I have like a little list here of all the phone numbers and people to get a hold of that I bought comics from in the past and would get more from. And then this is what I used to call my hit list, and I kind of still do this today, only on my phone now. So it has things like Alpha Flight 1, and then it has a little price on it that if I can get it for that price to pay. So it looks like Alpha Flight 1 I was happy to pay $6 for. So I don't know why any of these particular ones I was looking to buy. It's funny, I have Amazing Spider-Man 344 on there, and I think that's the first Cletus Cassidy who becomes Carnage, so that's pretty cool. But they're all over here. God, this is so fun to see. So that you can see the listing, and that's my hit list. So when I would go to these shows, I would just, as I went through the boxes, I would grab that. For me, back in those shows, there was no walls. They didn't do any wall books. It was all just, it was at an old church basement, or a fire hall or a bingo hall, and it was just banquet tables end to end, and these people just line all their stuff up. And it was always toys, comics, and cards. There was nobody dressing up. Sometimes there'd be a guy in a Spider-Man suit, but he was part of the show. It wasn't just, there was no cosplay back then. At least that I remember. When I was collecting, cosplay really was limited to Star Trek people. And I think a lot of those people have come over to all the Comic-Cons now. So it's funny because you never expected that to happen, I guess. But they're commingled. But then I was looking through this, and I used to draw, and I remember when I was little, and then even probably all the way into college, I still fancied myself that someday I would get a job at Marvel. But I found a picture here that I drew May 1990, and I signed it. I must have really been into the Punisher back then, but this is one of my original artworks here. Looks like he just shot that gun too. Look at that smoke, huh? That's pretty funny. I think his proportions are kind of off. His head did some severe steroid use too, from the looks of it. It's pretty funny. That's cool. I kept it. I haven't come across it yet, but I do have a folder of all the little things that I used to doodle. And then in here also was another kind of neat thing. This is how, when I first started bagging, this is before boards even, when I bagged my collection, I had a white shelf and I kept everything in it. And that's what my collection once upon a time looked like. So this would have been like 1988, 1989. It's pretty cool. I love that I still got that. I can remember putting those in there, and I was so happy because we didn't have boxes really, or at least I didn't. You know, you'd have boxes that you'd get from the comic shop that Diamond or whoever the distributors were would leave, and you know, you'd grab those because they give them to you for nothing. So. But then I came across this, and this is what I went up there to look for, and I came across that stuff. But in 1990, cards had exploded, and that was about the time I think cards actually burst, because I remember cards really taking off in 1988, and it was just crazy. People like Ken Griffey Jr. baseball card, people were paying $200-300 for, and it was 2 months old. Just crazy prices. And all of these people had nothing to do with the hobby, got involved in it, all these card guys. And eventually when that fizzled, I noticed a lot of the card guys at these shows would start having comic books on their thing. And they just became, now they're a comic book dealer. And they'd never even opened a comic. They had no idea. All they knew was put that out there and sell it for high prices. And, you know, you had all the holograms, you know, inside X-Force 1 and things like that. And it's funny, as the guy that I bought all that stuff from in the attic, he did that. He started off as a comic guy. He went the opposite though, which looking back is probably a really bad decision. But he liquidated all of his comics and bought tons of cards. So I don't know how that turned out for him. I'm guessing not very good. Hopefully he had his thriving peacock business to fall back on. But anyway, this is the set, and it was called Marvel Comics. And they were really cool. I loved them because, again, this was before the internet, and there was a thing out there called Marvel Universe, and it was these just comic books, and it would go A to Z and give you a page about each character, and it would tell you about their strength levels and things like that. So let's pull one out here, get a closer look. So you got the Hulk, and it's pretty cool, just standard card. But all the card guys, this was like the gateway for the card people to get into comics, I guess. So it was pretty neat too. They give you a strength level and first appearance and height and weight. I love the height and weight because when you read comics, that's something you always wanted to know. You give nicknames too: J. Jaws, Green Goliath. They have Hulkster. I never heard anyone call him Hulkster. That was more of a wrestling thing, I thought. And then I went through this, and I'm missing one card. I'm missing number 35. And at the end, they give you a little checklist, and 35 is Havoc. So they give you a cool checklist, and you go through. That's a neat one too. It shows it's Stanley, Mr. Marvel, I think they call him. My favorite part of this set, though, other than looking at the backs, were these cards. And they were the covers of key issues. What's funny is you look in there and they got some super, I mean, what I'd consider real keys, and you got Wolverine 1 in there, or Punisher 1. But that's who was popular. Wolverine and Punisher were in every single comic, even if it was only like 2 panels. But these are really neat, and I imagine a lot of the younger collectors out there, this may have been how they got into comics. You know, you might have gotten a few packs of these and gone through them. But yeah, there's my hole. So between Doctor Strange and Colossus is, you can see the battle van coming through, but there's a hole. So I'll be on old eBay. I guess I'll let the collector in me come back. And these were fun too. These came. I have to go through. I didn't go through the box, but these were like original holograms, so you can see that's the Wolverine one. And I remember when I saw this, when I dug this out, that was the one I can remember seeing that at shows. Stupid prices. People would have like $100 on that thing, and they'd taken it out of the pack, 30 seconds before. And I know they did cards after that. I never collected any other series. This is the only cards that I ever collected, and I'll finish that set because it's almost done. May as well complete it. Put it in a nicer thing too. The other thing that came out a little bit later, which was really cool, was the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and they sold these briefly, and I was only able to get one of them, and then afterward I couldn't get these again. And I remember looking in comic shops and they didn't have them anywhere. But what they were for is, you can see they were kind of a weird size. You would get these packs, and they already had 3 holes punched in them. And it was every character starting from A through Z, heroes, villains, it didn't matter. And it was kind of like those cards. And they did a lot of these series. So then if you look at the back, it's just insane detail. And again, this is before Wikipedia or the Marvel page or any of that stuff. And I mean, everybody's in here. Even did like the Avengers, and then you could see 4th lineup. So then 3rd lineup. Let's see if they got to there. We go. There's the 1st lineup. So that's kind of cool. But these are really neat, and I have to poor honorable mention, Wonder Man appeared and died in the same issue of Avengers 9. It's one of my favorite books. But they're all in here, and I see that I stopped at, looks like Dormammu is the last one in here, and I found 3 other notebooks, but they're not this notebook, so maybe I'll look and see if I can get the rest of these. That'd be kind of cool, because I'm pretty sure I have the whole set A to Z. I found a bunch of them. They're still in the plastic wrap. I haven't taken them out yet, so I probably didn't take them out till I got them. But these were cool because they were like the cards, only they were bigger. And they had way more detail. It's so weird though, because every single one of them is in this weird pose, their palms and everything. And I think it's the same artist the whole way through. Would have been neat if they could have got like Kirby and Gil Kane and people like that, but by then I don't even think Jack Kirby was drawn anymore, and I think Gil Kane might have been dead by then. God, there's people in here though, when you go through this, I have no idea who they were. It's pretty cool. For some reason they did a Captain America in action. That's kind of funny. The guy, he could shoot him anywhere and he just aims right at his shield. That's cool. Yeah, so these were cool. I really, it was kind of fun when I wasn't expecting to see the rest of this stuff and that I came across. And I had old articles in there too about comic collecting and things like that, and local people that would sell their collections off, or the local comic shop. Empire Comics was the big one. Every now and again they do like an interest piece in the people section of the local paper, so it was kind of cool. But anyone that collected those, if you hadn't seen them before, I just thought I'd bring them out and show you. And that's how I used to collect. And I didn't bring it out, but I used to carry a faux leather bag with me. It was vinyl black, had a shoulder strap on it and a zipper, and I liked it because I could put everything in that center and zip it up, and I didn't have to worry about creeps in there touching your stuff. I see a lot of guys now wear a backpack, and it just seems really uncomfortable because then you got to swing it around, and that I could swing that around and it would sit in front of me, and I could look at what I had bought. And back then you used to bring stuff in trade, so I would keep my trade stuff in the front pocket and stuff I purchased in the middle. It was neat, and then the folder would be in the back. So when the black folder came out, that's when things got real. So that's my short little tale of the day. Well, not so short, almost 15 minutes. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you all tonight on the show with Nick. It's a Wednesday, so Wednesday night we'll be doing that. No idea what we're going to talk about, but that is a quick hour. Anyhow, until next time, keep reading.